I'm Stephanie, and welcome to Fiction Files. This is the playlist where I talk about all things writing, and today I'm doing another character study, this time on a character I love, Cole Turner from the original Charmed. I'm a huge Charmed fan, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I watch it 4 days a week while I'm on the treadmill. I have seen every episode many, many times. Well, okay, not every episode. I'll be honest and say that the show kind of lost me in season 7, and I think I only watched season 8's opener and the finale. But I've seen every episode of seasons 1 through 5 multiple times. And I think season 3 is my favorite. I actually have no issues with Paige Matthews and her debut in season 4, and I actually really like her character. The first half of season 4 is fantastic. But I do like the Prue era more, if I'm being honest. And season 3 was peak Prue, and we got Cole. Cole, played by Julian McMahon, joined the cast in the 3rd season as a half-demon, half-human love interest for the youngest Halliwell, Phoebe. He was both Cole Turner as a human and Balthazar as a demon. I loved Cole. 12-year-old Stephanie had it bad for this magical man. And let's be honest, present-day Stephanie does too. He was an interesting character to add to the mix, and he had a great character arc set up for him. Now, I will say they royally botched his arc and destroyed this amazing character in season 5, and I'm mad about it, because he was such a compelling character. Let's go ahead and break down his character and character arc and see what we can learn from him as writers. His motivation. When Cole is first introduced, we know he's been tasked with destroying the sisters. But it goes deeper. We also find out that he's agreed to do this in order to free his father's soul. His father was human, and his soul is trapped and held hostage by the source of all evil. Ooh, now we have complexity. Now we have potential sources of conflict. Wanting to destroy the sisters is bad, but saving his father's soul is good. We can identify with his desire to save his family. As writers, we need readers to understand what motivates a character to act the way they do. Why might they rationalize doing something that's bad? And Cole's motivation is properly set up. His arc. Cole had an amazing character arc set up. Love saving a demon, and a person choosing to redeem themselves. What ends up being so tragic about Cole as a character is what the writers and showrunners did to him in season 5. They basically cop out and say he was evil the whole time, which he wasn't. Alison Pregler on YouTube has a great and super funny video series about what a mess Charmed is. And there are many things I agree with her on. I still love the show and love rewatching the first 5 seasons, but the show is flawed, and honestly wasn't that great at the end. Loving something doesn't mean you should ignore its problems. And Alison makes a fantastic point about Cole's demise and how every time he tries to be good and do the right thing, everyone spits in his face and tells him he'll never amount to anything. He's evil, and he might as well embrace it, mostly so they can vanquish him and get him out of their lives. Cole's setup was great. Half demon, half human, trying to save his father's soul by killing the Charmed Ones. He doesn't really fit in the human world, and was raised by his demon mother. He's doing what he was raised to do. But his humanity is awakened by Phoebe. He realizes he can be what he chooses to be. And he wants to be good. When Phoebe is turning evil by a demonic priestess and tries to seduce Cole, he says no. He leaves. It takes a lot of strength to not give in. It would be so easy for him. But he wants to be good. Love allows him to keep his demonic side in check. He even offers to destroy that half of himself. He even does become fully human at one point. But then he saves the Charmed Ones and is possessed by the source of all evil. He fights this possession. He wants to tell Phoebe so she can help him. He wants to get rid of it, but he's overpowered. The source is within him and slowly taking over. The seer explicitly states that it's the source's magic that protects him from Phoebe having a premonition about what's going on. And the source's magic overpowers Cole physically when he tries to tell her. He literally cannot say what's going on until it's too late. He even starts to transfer the source's power to a wizard, but Phoebe stops him. She kills the wizard so he can't complete the transfer. She chooses evil for them both. She chooses to keep the source alive and in Cole. Then that doesn't work out so well, so she vanquishes him instead. But because he's half human, he survives this, albeit in like a hellscape, but his soul is intact. He has a soul. And Phoebe tells him he should just give in and accept his fate and move on. There were no consequences for her choosing this life of evil and forcing Cole to keep the source inside him, but he should just die already. Honestly, I wish he had just been written out of season 5. His death would have been sad and tragic, but it would have been so much more better than what they do to his character. They annihilate him, and everything that was good about him is gone. He's an evil puppet with a warped motivation. Which sucks, because the theme of Cole was so good. You are not what you were born, but what you choose to be. Cole chose good. Until the writer said, yeah, never mind, you're born evil. Even though the sisters have become evil at times and have to fight it or destroy the thing making them evil. There's even the whole 24-hour period where Paige can be seduced by the source to the side of evil. She's half freaking Whitelighter. I mean, she's not Castiel, an angel of the Lord, but she's an angel in this universe. And she can choose to be evil if she wants? Make up your mind, writers. I mean, honestly, I'm asking too much. They can never keep track of their own lore or things that happened in previous episodes. But Cole's arc had such potential, and he did achieve it, and then they just didn't know what to do with him. This issue is easier to deal with when writing novels. You don't have to worry about getting renewed for another season. You should know when your story and the character arcs are complete. It's better to have a character feel stagnant after their change than destroy them by doing all the good they've done up to that point. His arc was complete when he lost his demonic half, but he was still in the show. So the writer said, we'll just backpedal and destroy everything that made him a compelling character. Because one thing that makes him a compelling character is that he has a ton of agency and takes action. He directly affects the plot. His choices have consequences. His choices save people. Cole is the one to take Prue into the alternate Old West to save Bo, and by extension Phoebe. Cole is the one who volunteers to go undercover in the Brotherhood. Cole is the one willing to fight Shax with Phoebe to save Paige. Cole is the one who takes in the Hollow to save them from the Source. Cole is the one who has Leo orb him underground to find out what warlock is capturing muses. Cole is the one who figures out how to escape the demonic wasteland and still chooses to save Phoebe when she told him to roll over and die already. Cole is the one who warns the Charmed Ones about the siren and goes after her himself. Cole is the one who is free of his demonic powers, but offers to take them back to save everyone from the demon Barbas. Though this is the same episode, Piper says Phoebe doesn't have a mean bone in her body. Piper, what show are you watching? But my point is that Cole does things. He doesn't wait for the action to find him. He jumps right in, which does get him in trouble at times, but at least he's proactive. He's kicking ass and taking names. He is confident in his powers and doesn't complain when it's time to fight the creature of the week. Phoebe and Piper will find any excuse to avoid saving innocents, such as Phoebe's apparently ever-growing pile of letters and Piper just wanting a normal life. Even though pretty much any time she's offered the chance to have a normal life, she says no. Cole does what needs to be done because it's the right thing to do. In a way, he's kind of like Peter Parker. He has great power, and he tries to be responsible with it. I talked about this in my Bella Swan analysis, where we need characters who take action. It's boring to read about a character who just sits there and things happen around or to them. The plot should happen because of the choices or actions characters take. And Cole, he gets himself a whole lot of action, in both senses of the word. But Cole does have his own set of issues and flaws. But he's realistically flawed, and his flaws hinder him. He can be reckless. He can be obsessive. He's willing to put others in harm's way if it gets him what he wants. And he can be cocky about his powers, and he's ended up hurt because of it. He fails at things, learns, and moves on. He addresses his flaws and tries to become a better version of himself. He's not perfect, but he's putting in the work, and we love to see him do it. Through his trials and tribulations, we start to learn more about Cole and his values. What matters most to him? This is so important for characterization, as we have to understand characters in order to care about what happens to them. Cole values love, and not just his love for Phoebe. He obviously loved his father, which provided his motivation. He wants to be loved, and he wants to be worthy of love. But his desire for love does make him flawed, as this can be a weakness, as he's willing to let people get hurt to protect Phoebe because he loves her so much. Cole values loyalty. He's loyal to Phoebe, he teams up well with Leo and Piper, and he was loyal to the Brotherhood, even if his loyalties were misplaced. Cole values independence. He wants to take some time to find himself after becoming fully human. He wants an identity outside of Phoebe. He wants to be useful in his own right in the fight against evil. With this, he sometimes makes choices that others don't agree with, or he does things that puts himself directly in harm's way. Cole values self-control and discipline. He often talks about suppressing his demonic half and keeping Balthazar in check. He has control over who he is and how he uses his powers. He's also in control and disciplined in his actions. He was methodical about learning about the Charmed Ones and took time instead of rushing in without a plan. In Season 4, he offers to train Phoebe in combat, which takes discipline and practice. What I'm saying is that Cole is a layered character. He has a healthy balance of strengths and weaknesses, and he becomes a very sympathetic character. He really was one of the best characters on the show. Justice for Cole. He is a character who deserved better. He's a good character who suffered at the hands of bad writing. I honestly wish they'd concluded his arc by having him sacrifice himself when the girls defeated the Source, instead of letting him become possessed. It would have been tragic and a hard sacrifice to watch, but one that would have made sense with his character. Or, if they wanted to do the possession route, then he needed to be redeemed in Season 5, instead of being villainized and blamed for being possessed. Ultimately, they kept him around far longer than they should have, just to ruin him. It was insulting, to say the least, not just to the character of Cole Turner, but to Julian McMahon as well. Though it does seem he at least had some fun being all hammy and evil in Season 5. Good for him. They can't take the joy of acting away from him while taking a good character away from him. What a waste. What else can we learn as writers by studying great characters like Cole Turner? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching Fiction Files.